Hi guys, welcome back to another video. On today's video I'm going to be fitting laminate flooring into our VW Caddy Maxi. I'm filming in here because it's super cold outside and super windy, so I can't do any filming with talking in near the van just because it's too windy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film the whole process and then add a voiceover. So what have we got for the flooring? So I picked up this laminate flooring from Wickes, which is 12mm thick, and I bought 2 packs of it. So if you've got a VW Caddy Maxi, you're only going to need 2 packs as long as you don't make loads of mistakes. So I went for the grey colour because that's going to look good against the white cladding and the grey carpet you've got in there already. So it's really simple to do. So obviously you want to have a plywood base flooring, which I'd recommend again, probably 12mm thick plywood. So you can buy the flooring kits online. There's a good company on eBay who do the kits. You can just buy the flooring, or you can buy a sheet of plywood like we did and then cut it to fit. So I'll show you some clips of how we did that and how to fit it in. And the next process, obviously you just want to cut the laminate flooring on top of this so that it just matches that template and comes up and covers any little cracks that you might have. So what you want to do is obviously use jigs, cardboard template, or by eye measuring, just to make sure you get the shape right, and then put in each plank one by one all the way so it covers up the whole floor. So it says with this flooring that you don't need to stick it down. However, in a van, obviously when you're driving along, lots of vibrations, the suspension is going to bounce around, so the floor is probably going to bounce and rattle. So I'm going to use wood glue and a load of weights to secure it down for 24 hours and make sure it's stuck solid to that plywood. And obviously you want to make sure the plywood's solidly stuck down as well, because otherwise the whole thing might rattle. So what you want to do is do one plank at a time, work all the way across the floor, make sure it's absolutely perfect before you glue it down, and then you can take up the floor again, and then when it's all perfect and it all fits, then you can glue it down. So put the piece in one by one, tongue and groove, put it all the way across with all the wood glue, and then just put a load of weights on it or something really heavy, each plank, and weigh that down for 24 hours, and then it's been nice and solid, and that's completely done. So let's crack on and get the flooring in.
Bittersweet and I'm walking slow, sensitive, feel the afterglow, looking for things that I can't control.
Moment of truth, is it going to fit in the van?
Right.
Oh, we put it in the wrong way. Put it in the, need to go there.
Oh yeah, let's go back.
But every time it comes back to you. Whoa.
Is she too tight?
Yeah.
She might pop down into it though. Because it's a bit thinner underneath, isn't it? There you go.
You just push it back. It needs to go back a bit, Will.
Right, push it out.
It's overlapping. I don't want to trap my fingers.
Ooh, it's cracked a bit there.
So to begin with, you want to get the flooring out of the packaging and measure up in the van to make sure you have enough flooring to fit the whole surface. So what we want to do is just roughly put together the flooring just to make sure that you've got enough pieces to cover the whole floor. Once you know how many pieces of flooring you'll need, you can start measuring and cutting it into place. So to do this, you can use a contour gauge tool, which will help you get the curves of the van. Another way to do this, which I like to do, which is a handy little tip, to get a piece of cardboard and fold it into the curves like I'm doing here. You can then easily mark these curves onto the wood and cut it to shape.
Blacking out, afraid just fading day by day. I'm reaching out for someone who can take away the pain I feel for things I haven't done at all. I've lost my way.
So once you've got the first board in place, simply repeat the process. Measure the length of board that you need, use either the gauge or the piece of cardboard to get the curve correct, cut this and then slot it into place. That's the great thing about using flooring like this, is it's tongue and groove, so each piece will slot into the next. Work your way from one side of the van to the other.
Oh, I'm still falling, whoa, but it tastes bittersweet. Oh, I keep on falling, whoa, I like the taste of it. Whoa, I'm still falling, whoa, but it tastes bittersweet.
So an important tip I'd say when doing flooring is make sure you cut the floorboards upside down. So many jigsaws have the blades facing upwards, so that creates a rough edge when you're cutting. So if you have the floorboard facing upwards, you're going to get a rough edge on the piece that you're going to see. So you turn it upside down and that means the rough edge is on the floor and you're not going to see that. As you can see, I've done most of the boards now, And for a little bit like this going against the wheel box, it's a bit of trial and error. You know, you can measure it and try to get it perfect, but you're trying to get a curve, you're trying to get the right angles, you're trying to get the right measurements. So the best way I do it is just cut a tiny bit at a time. It's probably a little bit slower, but as I'm not a carpenter and I'm not an expert, so I'll just make sure it fits. If it doesn't fit, I'll go back, shave another mil off, go back again, eventually until I get a nice tight fit. So another tip to get a really nice tight flooring. To the back of the van, you've got the plastic trim. This has got a tapered edge onto it. So the flooring, when you cut it, will have a 90-degree cut. Obviously, if you want this to be nice and tight against the plastic trim, you're gonna have to create a tapered edge as well. So you have to cut along the back of the floorboards, create that tapered edge, an angle, and then it will slot in and match the taper of the plastic trim. I didn't really show this, but that's how I've got a nice tight finish at the back of the van against the trim.
The same soul. But do you ever try to path on the right side? Put it up in your mind. But do you ever try to path on the left side? Put it up in your mind. It's gonna be alright.
As you can see, it's quite simple doing the flooring. It's quite time consuming, but that's like anything to try and get it right. Just make sure you measure twice and cut once. You know, I've learned that the hard way, so yeah, just make sure you measure accurately and get a nice clean cut.
Roll your mind, you run, join. Roll your mind, you run, join. Roll your mind, seeing all the.
So guys, I've finished fitting the flooring and it looks great. It all fits in really well. So what I need to do now is I need to take all the flooring back up. I need to number it so I know which order it goes back in, and then I can put the wood glue on and relay it and add the weights on top and glue it all in place, and then it'll be done. There's a few little bits you can add on, so you can add a bit of gunk around the edges, like a little bit of mastic, just to fill in any cracks you might have, and then I'm probably going to put a little bit of edging on here. But yeah, let's carry on. So the next step is take up all the floorboards and number them. This is so that you can then put them back into place in the right order, because all the floorboards look similar and you're not going to know where they're going to go unless you lay them out on the floor or something like that. So the easiest way is to number them, and then you're going to know exactly where they go. So I think for me it was 1 to 16. Once you've completed this, the next step is then to use the wood glue to stick it down in place. So I put on plenty of wood glue onto the plywood and then simply put floorboards on top of this and hold it down with weights when you complete it. So do one by one, putting them into place, move on to the next one, add the wood glue down, and so on and so on.
Roll your mind, you run, rhyme. Roll your mind, you.
When they're all completed, then add the weights on top and weight it down. Leave it for 24 hours and that'll be a really solid floor. Most people use screws, but this way you're going to get a better finish. You're not going to have any screws, you're not going to have any rattles, the floor's not going to come up, and it's going to be nice and solid and it's going to last a very long time. There you go guys, I've taken the weights off the floor, it's all glued down now and it looks absolutely amazing. I really like this colour and I'm really glad I went for the thicker flooring, the 12mm. It's really solid flooring, so it's a lot better. So the van's looking absolutely amazing, it's really coming together, the grey against the white and with the grey carpet as well. It's looking really, really good. So thanks again for watching, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or you're not sure of how to do something, like always, drop me a question in the comments below and I'll see you in the next video.